Hi everyone, it's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today I have for you a little bit of glue splatter, a little bit of mirror foil and stamping with magical powders. So stay tuned. Time for a little bit of art journaling, and today's project is filled up with some of my very favorite techniques. I really do hope you're gonna enjoy that. And let me start with my art journal. And I'm working in my butterfly art journal, which is filled up with 300 grams watercolor paper. And I'm gonna start with magical powders today. The first set I'm gonna be using it's autumn leaves. Magicals are from Lindy's gang, but as always, you're gonna get a full list of the products I used in the description box underneath this video. So check that out if you are interested in the products I'm using. And basically what I'm gonna be doing today, I'm gonna be stamping with powders. This is by far one of my favorite techniques. I have few of the very favorite techniques of mine, but this one I absolutely love. And when I was a designer for Lindy's gang, which lasted for a few years, I really got to love this technique. And I experimented so much that I think now I am really quite good at it. It is a technique which can be maybe tiny bit overwhelming at the beginning, but here are tips for those of you who never tried it. So you can try it with any powder pigments, like brushes, for example. The whole idea is not to dilute them too much with water. So you basically put your powders on the flat surface, you dilute them a little bit with water, and that's what I was showing you on the close-ups, that they are actually almost, the pigments are still not diluted. Some of them are still not diluted. And you basically, touch your stamp with or not, touch is not a good word, you kind of ink the stamp with the powders, but if you see that the powders didn't cover all the stamp, you can of course use the brush like I'm doing right now, or I was doing right now, to add a little bit of this color to the stamp, and then you just stamp it. And here we go. This could be a really nice technique if you do it well, if you learn how to do it well, and it's really not very difficult to learn how to do it well. It's basically a question of good proportions of water. It could be really nice not only for art journaling but also for card making. So this is something super cool. And if you don't have colored inks, you can use the powders, but be careful because they are usually water soluble. So, if you want to add some water later on, you may have a little bit of problem on the page because they will run with water. I am stamping on the watercolor paper, which has fine grain, but I find the grains are actually not that fine. They are quite big. So that's why also I have always a little bit issues with stamping when I'm stamping on the watercolor paper or on the texture watercolor paper. Just once again, I'm showing you how much water you need to put. I actually add a little bit more of pigment later on to have a little bit more. And so that's the reason why stamping on watercolor paper may leave you a little bit of grungy, not very perfect stamping. So you can see here on the page some of the squares or rectangles rather, which I was stamping before, they weren't very clear, they didn't stamp really well. And here is gonna be another example of that. The stamp didn't really stamp very well. So my arrow, I tried to stamp once again the arrow, but it didn't work too well. But then again, you can take a brush and just fix up your image if you really want to. I'm fixing it just a little bit because, this is my grungy stamping, so I do not care that much for the perfection of the image. But if you do the cards, you may think otherwise, and then you would want to have a really perfect image. but then usually you will use also a flat surface paper, so you shouldn't have big problems. And one more tip which I always tell you guys when stamping with powders, your stamps cannot be very intricate if you take the stamp which has, for example, I don't know, a very tiny script. You make it just a stain of color instead of script, because, well, they are not very precise, the powders, you know, diluted with water, so that's why you may not get a very nice image. And today, as you can see, I'm working with my stamps, but I'm gonna have a movie, I think, well, very soon, probably next week, with some other stamps. I'm gonna be using paper artsy stamps, so check that one out also. But for now, yes, this is very mine. If it comes to the stamps I'm using, very mine project. But the technique is so cool, I just wanted you to share, and I thought that this stamp, especially the one with rectangles, would be just perfect for it, because it was quite big and quite nice to stamp with, even on the watercolor paper. I'm doing a little bit of doodling also with the pilot pen, which I got the tip from Marta Łapkowska that it's a very good pen, which writes very well on almost any surface, and this is true. And so once again, you're gonna get a link in the description box below to this pen, because I used to use Unipin fine liners, and I still do use them, but they are very fragile. So if you have a porous surface or a surface which is not totally dry, and me being impatient, that happens sometimes, do not use Unipins. It's better to use this pen, even though it's not totally water resistant. And here we go, a little bit of splatter. Unfortunately, this is, I think, I cannot find a glue like that anymore. This is the last one I have. I bought it years ago. I think I bought it like 6 or 8 years ago, and it's still lasting. And it's a perfect glue because it's actually very liquid. And this is the glue which I'm using always for the to use mirror foil or any type of golden flakes. And what you have to do is, like what I'm doing anyway, I'm adding some splatter, then very quickly drying it with a heat gun to just kind of dry it, that it's not completely wet, but it's not dry at all still. And then I am applying either the flakes, metal flakes, or mirror foil, and the effect is just amazing. I'm not a big fan of things which shine, even though I like them when other people do projects like that, but I'm not big, it's not my strong suit to actually do the shiny stuff like sequins or glitter or things like that. But metal foil, I really love the mirror foil or flakes, and sometimes I am doing that. And I'm adding a little bit of glitter. Would you believe that? Glitter numbers. Those are actually stickers. And when I was adding the stickers, I realized that in some places the page was still sticky, which means that I didn't apply everywhere the mirror foil. So as you can see here now, I am applying a little bit to remove the stickiness and to just, cover wherever is needed. I added only 3 numbers. They are a little bit glittery, but not too much. So I don't mind that much. They are not very visible, but I wanted to add something which is not super visible, which is not super black. And my focal point is gonna be a butterfly, which I drew, and it's you can find it in my book, which is called Winged and Company, in my shop. Of course, I'm gonna give you a link in the description box, as always. And before I place the butterfly, I am adding a little bit of circle, made from the thread. Not a little bit of circle, but I'm adding a circle made of thread. And I had a really bad problem to actually glue it to the page because, I was losing the shape of the circle. It was getting all wobbly and stuff. I used the washi tape, I don't know if you've noticed, to actually make the circle. But once I took it out from the washi tape and I started gluing it, it just didn't work. It was so hard to actually manage it, to, you know, make a shape which resembles the circle the most. And I really apologize. I am a little bit off screen, and that I'm gonna fix in a second. But I don't know. I just changed a little bit of settings with my, well, you know, with the thingy which holds my camera. I don't know how is it called. And now I cannot, for the love of me, cannot find the proper setting, and my camera is going all crazy. So I need to work on that now. And so I placed the butterfly, and as almost always what I do with butterflies, I do not glue the wings. I glue only the main body, because I prefer when the wings are kind of, you know, you can move them on the page. It gives a little bit more of interest, and you know, a little bit of kind of layering almost. And the words are coming from my book, Super Messy Words. And so that's it, guys. And the page is really shiny. I'm so sorry you cannot really see that so well on the close-ups, but it is really nice grunge with shine. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for all your very, very, very nice comments. I've got so many of them. I'm trying so hard to answer all of them. I'm sending you big hugs. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for visiting my shop. Thank you for being here. Lots of love. Bye bye.